I'm here at River Runners with Dr. Christine Rochester, giving a lesson on metacognition.
All right, so the first thing we want to think about when it comes to learning is mindset. Now, there's a dog right under your foot there, Paige.
Yes,
so
I
why don't
see
you
that.
step over that dog? Okay, so our mindset here at River Runners is pretty open-minded. We're allowed to bring dogs. But you can have a growth mindset or a set mindset. And when it comes to paddling, what you really want to think about is, do I want to paddle, or am I just like, no, I can't do it, I've never done it before. And we've been working on getting diversified groups here on the river, and you have to come in with an open mindset that, hey, you know what, I don't know how to do it now, but I can learn and I can do it. And eventually, maybe I'll be able to do it on my own without having to pay people to take me, and still be able to do that safe. But a set mindset be, I just want to do the easiest thing, and I always want to go with a guide, or I'm just not going to go at all. So that's pretty much what different mindsets can be. And we have different mindsets with every activity. I was talking to Paige here earlier, and she said, oh, I'm not that good at chemistry. And then she changed her mind and says, well, I am good at chemistry, but I just was memorizing a lot of stuff. The bottom of Bloom's taxonomy. So, what would be if somebody's motivation to go paddling? Some of the things are, what, Paige? What are some motivations?
Some beautiful views, learning something new, excitement, the splashing and fun.
Getting out of the heat, doing something fun with friends. Another thing we talked about was getting off of the main path. Because when you're out on the river, your boat is the only one like in your area on the river. There's people behind you and things, but you never have to really pass other people. It's just you and the people on the river. So, those are some of the motivations that people have, and they want to learn how to paddle. And learning how to paddle and go with your own friends on the river is kind of a fun thing to do too. A lot of emotions come up when you're thinking about paddling on the river, especially at high water. Right now you can see, why don't you zoom in on here, Paige? Like, here's where the flows are today, okay? They're kind of low. We've already passed high water. This year we were only at 75% of snowpack. So, we were 75% of snowpack, so we didn't get much of an opportunity to have super high water, but there's still always fear that people are going to fall out of their boats. Now, if you come over here and look at this Royal Gorge picture, if you fall out of your boat, there's hardly anywhere to go to on either side. So it's a drowning type of fear. And then there's also the emotions of having fun. Other things that people will learn about on the river is going to be safety. How not to fall out of your boat is a really important thing to learn about. And then, you're going to learn about teamwork and working with paddlers. Now, if we think about Bloom's taxonomy of learning, like we talked about earlier, the remembering part of it, now we could like look at videos and like kind of learn and remember like how to paddle. From any previous paddling experience we might have is going to be effective. And the reason why people really learn well when we go out on the river is because not only do we have to learn how to do something, there is a lot of emotion involved, which makes us be able to understand what the guide's teaching us. So when the guide says put the paddle in and pull back, we're like, okay, we're going to pull back. And then it's like, oh, okay, then we have to put in and pull back at the same time. Or we have to go backwards when the guide tells us to go backwards. So we start to really understand. Then we get in the boat on the river, which is over there, and we all learn how to paddle together. So we reach in and we start moving the boat around in the eddy together, and we know we're going to get into some rapids, so we better be doing this right. So we're immediately applying the skills we learn, which is moving us up along Bloom's taxonomy of learning. Then when we go out and we get our first rapid, and we were like, wow, we either flip the boat immediately, obviously we didn't learn. But if we do it correctly, we listen to our guide, and we apply what we learned, we're going to do a good job. And then the guide's going to look at us and say, hey, how can we do things better? And then everyone's thinking, how can I paddle better? How can I paddle better? I want to be able to get through the next class 4 rapid without falling out of the boat. We don't want to have any life-sustaining injuries today. So then we evaluate, and then after we're done evaluating, analyzing, we evaluate how can we get better. And then the next thing we're going to do is when we get done with the trip, we're going to say, hey, I like that. Maybe I could create a plan to take my friends out in a boat. And how can I do that safely? And that's going to require a lot of homework, a lot of research. Can I rent boats? Should I buy a boat? What section of the river is going to be safe? So all those type of things come into that lesson there. And then you can decide whether you want to be a guide and take your friends or go out with more skilled people. So there's a lot that goes into creating that plan. You know, when you go out with a company, it's already set. The company's going to pick you up at the takeout. They're going to drive you to the put-in. They're going to make sure you have all your gear. When you go out on your own, you're creating your own plan. You've got to know when to put in, where to put in, when to take out. How are you going to get your boats from the put-in to the takeout after you're done with your run? Who's going to pick you up? So there's so much going on when you learn how to create your own plan. Anything you want to add today, Paige?
I don't think so. I think we've covered everything.
We've covered everything. Well, thank you for your help, and we'll see you next time.